Howdy guys, thanks for joining us again. Sorry I haven't got to post much this past couple weeks. Winter's been having its second encore here. It's freezing, so I haven't done much. What I have been doing, I haven't been keeping a camera with me. So today all I'm doing is taking the olds out to get some kerosene. Give y'all a little update on where things are going. I don't think, or I'm pretty confident, the Olds doesn't have a bad head gasket. You know, I did some looking at it, ran it for a little bit. Never overheated, doesn't look like there's water in the oil, it just has that white smoke on startup, but that's what a lot of cars have. So, you know, I changed the oil in it, drove it a little bit, monitored it, it was cool, so I decided to take it to work. I drove it 65 miles, and cool, no problem. So, I did use a little coolant, but it's, you know, the oil's still clean, and it's not a lot. 65 miles is a long way to drive for a bad head gasket. So a lot of the guys at work, there's a lot of old school GM mechanics there were telling me, common issue for these is leaky intake. There's one part of it that's plastic. It tends to heat up, melt, and go everywhere. So that's a deal to deal with. But I'm up in the air on whether I'm even going to keep this motor in it. I may motor swap it just because I've got a decent lead on a 3800 supercharged from the I think like 05 Bonneville. So if I can get that for what I think I can get it for, I'm probably going to jump on that, because it's just one of those why would you not type of scenarios. But if it's not and it's going to turn into a whole thing, then I'll fix the intake and call it a day. Up in the air on whether I'm going to paint it. I've been looking at so many of these, looking at what's for sale out there, and so many people give them very custom paint jobs. So, you know, the paint job I put on it probably won't mean anything to the next person unless somebody's really buying it for the originality, which it's got that, you know. All the interior's in great shape, the body's straight, and all the pieces are there. So I'm up in the air on that. As far as the Galaxy goes, however, I got some gauges in for that I was planning to do today, but it's gonna rain, so I'm not gonna do that today. But I got most important one's just the oil pressure and the water temperature. It's got a voltmeter on it as well, but it either started or don't. But that's kind of my plan. I really want to get those hooked up to the Galaxy. I also want to do a compression test. I need to pick one of those up. But I need to do a compression test on it just to see if my compression is consistent across the board. I dug a timing light. I've got a timing light that's been sitting in my van. It probably came with the van when it was new. But I've never used it just because I never knew how to use it. And, you know, it's still in its original packaging and everything from the previous owner I got it from. So I'm assuming it still works. I'm going to plug it up probably Thursday, a couple days from now, or I don't know, whenever I get some time and it's decent outside. That's the big game. That's the big plan for the Galaxies. And one day, next day that I get into it, I want to check the compression, the timing, and then the vitals, of course. And that's going to help me know which direction I need to go, because it still does its little stuttering thing when I'm driving it out. If I hammer it down, it's cool. If I put it down halfway, it's not. So I want to look into those things, but I also really want to do a carburetor rebuild, because that's one of the adjustments that I see when I'm looking at my type of carburetor, is that it's common for that rod to get bent, if I'm remembering correctly, I think, but the one that controls your cruise speed or cruise idle or something to that effect. Either way, I don't know how long the carburetor's been sitting without a cleanup anyway, so it couldn't be detrimental to do. yeah, that's pretty much the plan. Galaxy, like I said, needs to get, timing, compression, and vitals checked for real now. And then this one here needs most likely an intake manifold or a motor swap, depending on which way the wind blows, I guess. So it's running rock steady at 175, 180. I think it's what it's telling me is 180. And it stays there the whole time I drive it, whether I get up to highway speeds or cruise around town. If I drop down to a park in traffic, it's hot outside, it'll get up to like 200. But I feel like that's just normal for these older cars, so I'm not worried about that. Yeah, it's pretty much the whole story on it. I appreciate y'all keeping up with me. I can't wait to get back into the Galaxy and start doing some stuff with it, but that's where we're at right now. I appreciate y'all stopping in. I hope to see y'all again.